All right, I am going to show you how to do an I-cord cast on. Now I'm going to start, I'm going to use a long tail cast on, but you can use whichever cast on you prefer, to put 3 stitches on your needle. Some patterns may call for a 4-stitch I-cord, but we're just going to use 3 for this demonstration. So I've cast my 3 stitches onto my needle, and as if I were just going to make an I-cord, I'm going to slip all 3 of these stitches to my left needle. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by knitting the front and back of the first stitch. Knit in front, knit in back. Pull that snug, and then knit to the end of the row. You can see now I have 4 stitches. And because it's a 3-stitch I-cord that we're using, I'm going to slip 3 stitches back to the left needle. And I'm leaving this 1 stitch on the right. That's my cast on stitch. And then repeat, knit in the front and the back and across the row. And slip 3 back to the left. Now I have 2. Now this can tend to be a little bit of a loose cast on. These stitches end up a little bit loose. So that's why when you do your knit front and back, I would suggest pulling it snug to help combat that a little bit. That is one of the disadvantages of doing this I-cord cast on as opposed to creating an I-cord and then picking the stitches up. When you pick the stitches up, you can have these nice and snug. An advantage to this, however, is that if you're casting on a large number of stitches, you're only having to count once. You don't have to count how many rows your I-cord is, and then count how many stitches you're picking up along your I-cord. You're doing it all at once. And if you want to just keep going and then count, and you find you have too many, you can just rip it out. All right, now when all of your stitches are on the right hand needle and you count and you find that you have the number that you want, so in this case I have 10 stitches, I want you to do one more increase. Knit in front and back, pull snug, and finish the row. Okay, so now I have 11 stitches and I want a total of 10. And this is how we're going to end this. Now you can do this whether you are working on a flat piece or if you're going to join in the round. Either way. I'm going to slip the last 2 stitches back onto my left needle. And then I'm going to knit the 2 stitches together. Okay, so now I'm back to my desired number of 10 stitches. Now that just helps give this little kind of rounded shape to this end of the I-cord to make it match this side a little better. There are lots of ways to do it, but I like doing it that way. Now I'm just going to show you, let's pretend that this is a flat piece. See what the back side looks like. You can definitely tell the right side from the wrong side. All right, I'm just going to knit a couple rows in stockinette. So this is a wrong side row, so I'm going to purl across. All right, the reason I did that was to show you how this first row tends to be particularly loose. Now, any trick you have to combat that, this might be a good place to use it. You might want to knit into the back loop of your stitch because the twist will tighten it up a little. Maybe it doesn't bother you. Another thing you can do is actually see how the I-cord cast on is rather snug compared to my stockinette fabric here. You could actually do that with a larger needle, but that is still going to make this first row very loose. So that's one of the drawbacks of this I-cord cast on as opposed to picking up stitches along an I-cord. But personally, if I'm casting on a large number of stitches, I'm going to go with this method. I just find it easier. And that is how you do an I-cord cast on. Now, if you're joining in the round, you would, at the end, use your tail to seam up the two ends of your I-cord. So you would join in the round like you would with anything, making sure all of your stitches were in the right place and not twisting, and just start knitting or purling or whatever your project is. And then at the end, like I said, seam the two ends of your I-cord together with your tail.